There are 3 SUVs sitting on dealer lots right now collecting dust. Salespeople are practically begging people to look at them. And every mechanic I know, the guys who see what breaks and what does not, they are quietly scooping them up for their own families. These are not fixer-uppers. These are not vehicles with hidden problems that scared everybody away. These are SUVs with bulletproof drivetrains and maintenance costs lower than some economy cars, selling for thousands below what they should because of one thing: badge snobbery. After 22 years of working on cars, I have watched people walk right past these to overpay for a RAV4 with 110,000 miles because it has a Toyota logo on the hood. Meanwhile, these 3 just sit there, waiting for someone smart enough to look past the name on the grille. And SUV number 1, that one genuinely shocks people when I tell them about it. It has the same DNA as vehicles costing twice as much, and the reliability numbers are so good, they almost do not look real. Today, I am counting down my 3 most overlooked SUVs rotting on used car lots right now, the ones that 99% of buyers scroll right past online. I am going deepest on number 1 because that is the SUV that will completely change how you think about the used market. Let us get into it. Number 3, the Hyundai Santa Fe. This is an SUV that used to have a bad reputation, and I get it. The older Hyundais earned some of that skepticism. But the current generation, specifically 2019 and newer, is a completely different animal. And because people still think it is 2012, these things are sitting on lots at prices that make 0 sense for how good they are. 6 months ago, a guy came in, late 30s, 2-kid, wife pregnant with number 3. He was looking at a 2019 Toyota Highlander with 74,000 miles. The dealer wanted $26,500. I checked the vehicle history and what was coming due and told him it was a fair truck, but not a fair price. He asked what I would buy instead. I pulled up a 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe SEL with the 2.4-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, 41,000 miles, clean, Carfax, 1 owner, $17,800. He saved nearly $9,000 and got a newer vehicle with almost half the mileage. That was 6 months ago. He just texted me last week. Do you want to know what he has spent on that Santa Fe? An oil change. That is it. Here is what nobody is paying attention to with the 4th generation Santa Fe from 2019 forward. Hyundai cleaned house. The problematic engines from the earlier years, the 2.4-liter Theta 2 and the 2.0-liter turbo that gave Hyundai its bad name, those are gone. The 2019 and newer Santa Fe uses a revised 2.4-liter that addressed the manufacturing defect that caused those earlier engine failures. And if you go 2021 or newer, you get the SmartStream 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. No turbo to fail and no direct injection carbon buildup issues because Hyundai switched to a dual injection system, port and direct combined. That is the kind of engineering detail that mechanics notice and regular buyers never hear about. The transmission is an 8-speed automatic, not a CVT that is going to slip at 80,000 miles. Not a dual clutch that shudders in traffic. A proper torque converter automatic that shifts smooth and lasts. And here is the kicker: Hyundai's warranty. Even on used vehicles, if you are the second owner and within 5 years and 60,000 miles, you still get powertrain coverage. But if you are the original owner, it is 10 years and 100,000 miles. That is an industry-leading warranty that Hyundai backs because they know these newer engines hold up. Now let us talk money, because this is where it gets ridiculous. A 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe with the 2.4-liter and under 60,000 miles will be $16,000 to $20,000, depending on trim. A comparable 2020 Toyota RAV4 XLE with similar mileage sits at $22,000 to $26,000. That is a $6,000 to $8,000 gap for an SUV that, in my experience, has comparable reliability in the newer generation and more interior room. The Santa Fe can last 200,000 to 250,000 miles when properly maintained. I have seen it. Owners on forums are reporting north of 200,000 miles on the V6 models from 2013 and up with nothing more than oil changes and brake pads. The newer 2.5-liter cars are too new to have those numbers yet, but the engineering improvements tell me they will get there. If you are shopping for one, here is my inspection checklist. First, verify the engine. You want the 2019 and newer 2.4-liter or the 2021 and newer 2.5-liter. Avoid any Santa Fe with the 2.0-liter turbo from 2013 to 2018, unless you enjoy expensive surprises. Second, check the oil level and condition right there on the lot. Pull the dipstick. If it is low or black, the previous owner was not on top of maintenance, and that tells you everything. Third, test the infotainment system thoroughly. Some early 2019 models had touchscreen lag issues. Not a mechanical concern, but a $300 to $400 annoyance if you need to replace the head unit. Fourth, look under the vehicle for any signs of oil seepage around the engine and transmission. These are tight vehicles underneath, so if you see drips, that is a red flag. Bottom line on the Santa Fe, you are getting a midsize SUV with a revised, proven powertrain, an industry-leading warranty, and more space than a RAV4 at a price that would make a Honda dealer blush. The only reason it is cheap is because people still associate Hyundai with the problems from a decade ago. Their loss, your gain. But if you think the Santa Fe is a steal, this next SUV is going to make your jaw drop. It has luxury car refinement, the lowest maintenance costs in its entire class, and it depreciates so fast you can pick one up for the price of a base model Corolla. Number 2, Buick Envision. I know, you just made a face. Buick. But hear me out, because the numbers on this thing are absolutely insane. And every mechanic I know who has worked on one has the same reaction. There is nothing wrong with it. RepairPal, one of the most trusted independent sources for vehicle reliability data, ranks the Buick Envision number 1 out of 32 midsize SUVs for reliability. Number 1, not top 5, not pretty good for an American car. Number 1 overall, above the RAV4, above the CR-V, above the Highlander. The average annual maintenance cost for the Envision is $318. The midsize SUV average is $494. The overall vehicle average is $591. You are saving nearly $300 a year in maintenance compared to the average SUV, and nearly $275 a year compared to all vehicles on the road. Over 5 years, that is $1,500 in your pocket, doing absolutely nothing except driving your car. The probability of a severe repair on the Envision is 5%. The midsize SUV average is 14%. The average for all vehicles is 14%. You are nearly 3 times less likely to face a major repair bill in this thing than in an average SUV. Envision owners bring their vehicle in for unscheduled repairs an average of 0.2 times per year. Statistically, that means you will go 5 years before a single unexpected shop visit. 5 years. I had a woman come in last year, mid-50s, a retired teacher. She was looking at used Lexus NX models with a budget of $28,000. She wanted something quiet, comfortable, reliable, and nice enough to feel like a reward after 30 years in the classroom. I asked if she had considered the Buick Envision. She looked at me like I had suggested she buy a tractor. I pulled one up on my phone, a 2022 Envision Avenir, the fully loaded trim with 32,000 miles for $24,500. Leather everywhere, heads-up display, surround view camera, adaptive cruise control, and standard all-wheel drive as of 2024 models. That same money would have gotten her a base Lexus NX with 60,000 miles and cloth-adjacent seats. She test drove the Buick. She bought the Buick. She called me 3 months later and said it was the quietest, most comfortable vehicle she had ever owned. Here is the engineering that matters. The second-generation Envision, from 2021 onward, uses a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder paired with a 9-speed automatic transmission. Now, I know what you are thinking. I just told you to avoid turbos on the Hyundai. This is a different situation. General Motors has been refining this 2.0-liter turbo for years across multiple platforms. It is a mature, proven engine. The 9-speed automatic is smooth and reliable, and Buick's active noise cancellation system makes this thing quieter inside than vehicles costing $20,000 more. Over 10 years of ownership, total maintenance costs for the Envision average about $8,500, which is roughly $700 less than the industry average for SUVs in its class. That is real money. Parts are domestic and widely available, which means your independent mechanic can service it for a fraction of what a BMW or Mercedes dealer charges. Here is my inspection checklist for the Envision. First, stick with the second generation, 2021 and newer. The first generation, 2016 to 2020, had some growing pains. The 2016 and 2017 models in particular had climate control and brake issues that got expensive. From 2019 onward, things improved significantly, but 2021 and newer is where Buick really nailed it. Second, check the touchscreen and infotainment system. The 2021 and newer models use General Motors' updated system with a large, seamless display. Make sure it is responsive and not glitchy. Third, test the turbo response. Take it on the highway and do a full throttle pull from 40 to 70 miles per hour. It should pull smoothly and linearly. Any hesitation or surge could indicate a boost leak or wastegate issue. Fourth, inspect the brake rotors. Some owners report premature brake wear, especially on models with the larger 20-inch wheels on the Avenir trim. Not expensive to fix, about $350 all around, but worth negotiating if they are scored. Who should buy the Envision? Anyone who wants a luxury experience without the luxury price. This is not a compromise vehicle. It is a genuinely nice place to sit with genuinely bulletproof reliability. If you commute more than 30 minutes each way, the Envision's noise cancellation and ride quality will change your daily life. If you want the lowest possible annual maintenance bill in a midsize SUV, the data says this is your vehicle, period. If you are tired of paying the German tax for a luxury badge that spends half its life in the service bay, drive an Envision and tell me it is not 90% of a BMW X3 at 60% of the cost. Who should skip it? If you need a third row, this is a 2-row SUV. Look at the Buick Enclave instead. If you want something sporty and engaging to drive, the Envision is tuned for comfort, not canyon carving. And honestly, if you care deeply about what your neighbors think when you pull into the driveway, I understand. The Buick badge does not carry the same social currency as an Audi or a Lexus. But your mechanic knows better, and your bank account will too. Here is the mechanic math on the Envision. Buy a 2022 with 30,000 miles for around $22,000 to $25,000. Drive it for 100,000 miles. Budget maybe $2,500 in total maintenance over that time. You will not find a lower cost per mile deal in a luxury adjacent SUV anywhere in the market. All right, that was number 2. Now this last one, number 1, is the SUV that I personally recommend more than anything else to people who want reliability, refinement, and rock-bottom ownership costs. And almost nobody considers it because they do not realize what it actually is under the skin. If this kind of honest advice is helping you out, hit subscribe. I have more videos coming on the cars mechanics actually buy versus the ones dealerships push. Let's get to it. Number 1, the Acura RDX. Number 1 is a luxury SUV with Honda engineering underneath, repair costs lower than a Honda CR-V, a reliability rating that sits at the top of its entire class, and it is selling for literally half of what it cost new, because the average buyer does not understand that Acura and Honda are the same company. Let me say that again, because I need it to sink in. The Acura RDX has lower annual maintenance costs than a Honda CR-V. It costs $497 a year to maintain, according to RepairPal, compared to the luxury compact SUV average of $859. That is a $362 difference every single year. Over 10 years of ownership, you are saving $3,600 in maintenance compared to the average vehicle in its class. And you are driving a luxury SUV with a leather interior, a 272 horsepower turbocharged engine, a 10-speed automatic, and every safety feature imaginable. RepairPal gives the RDX a 4.5 out of 5 reliability rating. That ranks it number 1 out of 11 luxury compact SUVs. Not second, not tied for first. Number 1, the probability of a major repair is just 6% compared to 10% for the luxury compact SUV average and 12% for all vehicles. Acura as a brand ranks second out of 32 car brands overall, second, behind only Lexus, which is Toyota's luxury division. So when I tell you the RDX has Honda reliability in a luxury wrapper, I am not exaggerating. The data proves it. Let me tell you the story that changed how I recommend cars. About 2 years ago, a couple came in, both in their early 50s, shopping for an SUV to replace their aging BMW X3. They loved the X3, but were tired of the $1,800 brake jobs and the $2,400 oil leak repairs. Their budget was $30,000. They wanted something that felt premium but would not bleed them dry. The wife wanted a Lexus NX. The husband wanted a Mercedes GLC. I asked them one question: have you driven an Acura RDX? They had not. Nobody ever has, and that is the entire problem with this vehicle. Nobody cross-shops it because they do not think of Acura when they think luxury. I had them drive a 2020 RDX with the technology package, 38,000 miles, one owner, dealer maintained, $25,800. The Lexus NX they were looking at was a 2020 with 52,000 miles for $29,500. The Mercedes GLC was a 2019 with 61,000 miles for $28,000 with a maintenance history that made me nervous. They bought the Acura. That was 2 years ago. They are at 74,000 miles now. Total unscheduled repairs in 2 years, 0. Oil changes, tire rotation, brake pads. That is the entire service history. She texted me last month and said that this is the best car we have ever owned and nobody knows what it is. That is the Acura RDX in one sentence. The best car nobody knows about. Here is why the third generation RDX from 2019 to 2025 is the one I push. The 2.0-liter VTEC turbocharged four-cylinder is a Honda-engineered engine through and through. It shares its DNA with the Honda Civic Type R engine, one of the most celebrated and durable performance engines in production. Obviously, it is tuned up differently in the RDX, prioritizing smoothness and low-end torque over peak horsepower, but the bones are the same. It makes 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque, which is more than enough to move this SUV with authority. The 10-speed automatic transmission is one of the best in the business. Honda and Acura developed it in-house, and it is silky, fast-shifting, and damn near indestructible. I have not replaced one. I have not heard of a colleague replacing one. They just work. And if you opt for the SHAWD, Acura's super handling all-wheel drive, you are getting one of the most sophisticated all-wheel drive systems in this price range. It actively distributes torque, not just front to rear, but side to side across the rear axle. It makes the RDX genuinely fun to drive in a way that no Lexus or most BMW models in this class can match. Now let us get to the numbers that make this whole thing ridiculous. A 2019 Acura RDX with 60,000 miles is $19,000 to $22,000. That vehicle had an original MSRP of $38,000 to $48,000, depending on the package. You are buying it for roughly half price. A 2020 RDX with the technology package and 50,000 miles sits around $23,000 to $27,000. Compare that to a 2020 Lexus NX 300 with similar mileage at $27,000 to $31,000, or a 2020 BMW X3 at $25,000 to $30,000, which will eat you alive in maintenance after the warranty expires. Let me break down what it actually costs to own this SUV. Brake pads, all four wheels, about $350. Oil change with full synthetic at my shop, $85. Transmission fluid service, $180. The most expensive routine item is the spark plugs, which Acura recommends at 100,000 miles, and that runs about $280. These are real prices from real shops, not dealership markups. And here is the detail mechanics love. Because the RDX shares so many components with Honda vehicles, parts availability is massive and prices are low. You are paying Honda parts prices, not BMW or Mercedes prices. An alternator for the RDX is about $380 installed. The same job on a BMW X3 is $850 minimum. A water pump on the RDX runs about $550. On the Lexus NX, it is about $720. Every single common repair is cheaper on the Acura, and you need fewer of them. Here is my inspection checklist for the RDX. First, check the infotainment system. The third generation RDX uses Acura's true touchpad interface, which is a touchpad controller instead of a traditional touchscreen. Some people love it, some hate it. Make sure it is responsive and all the inputs register properly. If the touchpad feels dead in certain zones, that is a known issue on some early 2019 models and costs about $400 to address. Second, Listen for any turbo whine or whistle on acceleration. The 2-liter turbo is generally rock solid, but a small number of early production 2019 models had wastegate actuator issues that caused an audible whistle under boost. It is easy to hear on a test drive, and it is about $600 to fix if present. Walk away if they will not negotiate. Third, test the super handling all-wheel drive system. Find a large parking lot, turn the wheel to full lock, and drive in a tight circle in both directions. Any clicking, binding, or vibration means the differential fluid was neglected. That is a $200 fluid change that was skipped, not a mechanical failure, but it tells you the previous owner cut corners. Fourth, look at the interior wear patterns. Check the driver's seat bolster, the steering wheel at 9 3, and the center armrest lid. The Acura leather holds up well, but if a car with 40,000 miles has worn bolsters, it was someone's Uber vehicle. Walk away. Who should buy the RDX? Anyone who wants luxury that does not punish you financially. This is the sweet spot in the entire used car market. You get a premium interior, Honda reliability, the best all-wheel drive system in the compact luxury class, and maintenance costs that are lower than most economy SUVs. If you are cross-shopping Lexus or BMW and you have not driven this vehicle, you are leaving money on the table. Commuters, this thing was designed for you. It is quiet, composed, and the adaptive cruise control on technology package and above models is excellent. Families with 1 or 2 kids will find the cargo space generous, and the back seat is roomy enough for car seats with space left over. Who should skip it? If you need 3 rows, the RDX is a 2-row SUV. Look at the Acura MDX for the same reliability in a bigger package. If you are buying purely for resale value, the Lexus NX holds its value better. You will lose less on paper with the Lexus, but you will pay more upfront and more in maintenance, so the total cost of ownership is actually comparable. If the touchpad interface is a deal breaker and you want a traditional touchscreen, the Acura Integra from 2023 onward uses a touchscreen. The RDX is still on the touchpad for now. Test drive it before you decide. Here is my final take on the RDX. If you handed me $25,000 and said go buy the best used SUV on the market right now, I would buy a 2020 Acura RDX technology package with under 50,000 miles and not think twice. Honda reliability, luxury interior, performance that makes you smile, and maintenance costs so low they make economy cars jealous. It is the most undervalued SUV in America, and it is not even close. So there it is. 3 SUVs that 99% of buyers are walking right past, while mechanics are loading them onto flatbeds for their own families. The Hyundai Santa Fe is a completely transformed SUV, hiding behind a badge people have not given a second chance. The Buick Envision is ranked number 1 in reliability in its entire class, with maintenance costs so low they seem like a typo. And the Acura RDX is a luxury SUV with Honda DNA. It costs less to maintain than most economy cars, and it sells for half of what it cost when new. You now know 3 SUVs you can buy for well under $30,000. That will outlast and save you more than vehicles twice their price. Next time a salesman tries to steer you toward a 3-year-old German lease return with 42,000 miles and a service history thicker than a phone book, you will know better. Now, if you want to know which SUVs have actually earned legendary status in the shop, the ones that just flat out refuse to die, no matter what their owners threw at them, I did a whole video on that. It is right here. 22 years of watching cars come and go, distilled down to the ones that mechanics genuinely respect. If this helped, like the video and subscribe for more straight talk on the cars that actually make sense. Drive safe, take care of your car, and it will take care of you. Take it or leave it. I will see you in the next one.